Hi everyone, so I wanted to record a video of me making homemade salsa. So I've already boiled the tomatoes in boiling water to peel the skin off the outside of it. And so these are what they look like after the skin's been pulled off. Some of them I probably, like that one, should have just thrown away, but I was trying to save it. They came out of my garden. So now I am just chopping them up after peeling all the skin off. I will say, out of everything that I've canned so far, it seems that this is the most time consuming is doing the homemade salsa, because you can only put like so many tomatoes in at a time, and you have to peel everyone, and let them cool and stuff like that. So this has taken me the longest. I want to say I was up till like 1 o'clock in the morning this night. So it does take a while. And you don't have to chop them this way. You can put them into an automatic chopper or whatever works for you guys. I just don't have one of those, and so I did it by hand, which I will say took me a lot longer. I could have saved myself some time by having a chopper. So now I am putting some water into 2 different pans, the small one and a large one for the jars and then one for the bands and the lids, because you do want to sterilize your bands and lids and your jars before putting anything into them. And you also want them to be hot when you're putting salsa into them, because if you don't, it will break the glass from, putting something that hot in there. Next, I cut up some jalapenos because my kids absolutely love jalapenos. I'm not a super fan of them, but the salsa wasn't for me. I made it for my kids, so that's what I'm doing here. And there is no specific number of jalapenos that you need to put in there. It's just based on your preference. So whatever you would like to put in there. Next, I cut up onions. And so that's what I'm doing here. I love onions personally, and my kids do. So I kind of wanted to put a little bit of a variety of things into the salsa. Okay, so next I used a half a cup of vinegar, the pickling vinegar. It has to be 5% acidity, and this is just what my bag required. I used Mrs. Wage's medium salsa. So as you can see, I have started to sterilize the jars and the bands and the lids, and I have my salsa going. I didn't have all the ingredients, but this is what it was. Mrs. Wage's medium salsa, which required a half a cup of vinegar for this one bag. Next, I chopped up some green peppers. My daughter in the background, she'd just gotten her tattoo. And I'll be honest, I probably would have liked to put more green peppers, but I had already frozen my peppers, like chopped up most of them and put them in the bottom of the freezer. So I only had one for my garden, or I think a couple. And you know, some people put other things into it. You guys can put whatever you want in it. It's really, like I said, just based on what you and your family like. I honestly kind of YouTubed a video and educated myself before doing this. And then, you know, was very precise on the timing of things, because I've learned with canning that's super important to be like very precise with your time. So here we're just showing you where we've added most of the ingredients, I believe, and we're putting the entire bag in. And now we're pulling the jars out. It's been stewing for a little bit. I actually stewed it for a couple of hours, to be quite honest with you. Maybe longer than that. But you're going to want to have, you know, something to be able to pull these jars out, because they will be very hot. And you don't want to get burnt or somebody else to get burnt. So now this is what my salsa is looking like. And then next I started to put my salsa into the jars. And I'm just trying to show you what the thickness of my salsa. You guys can do whatever thickness that you guys prefer, but I don't like mine to be real watery. And I used like a ladle because I felt like it was smarter to do it this way than to just try to pour from the side of that pan. And when doing it, you're going to want it to be about an inch from the top, just like this. And now that we have all the jars filled here, you're going to want to wipe the rim of the jar so that when you put the bands and the lids on it, that it seals properly after being in the boiling water. This is really important because if you don't do it, I found they don't seal right. I found that after I put them back into the boiling water, they're like leak out and stuff, which can make it irritating when you've done this entire process and it's taken hours to do it. So to save yourself the heartache, you know, just kind of do that. Now I am pulling out my sterile bands and lids. And you're going to want to put them on. When you put these on and you go to turn them, you want to turn them nicely. You don't need to over tighten them. They're going to seal off anyway. I mean, obviously you don't want the lid to be completely loose to where things leak out. You want to shut it, but don't over tighten them. So now that we have put in all the bands on there, we're going to tighten them. And just like I did, you just want to tighten it. Don't over tighten it. You've seen I just turned it and left it alone. And these will be really hot, so just try to be careful. And that one actually went on so easy. I will will say sometimes this part can be a pain, but you can see that I just held that down, make sure that the band on the top, the lid doesn't turn, and just, lightly turn it. Just like that. And then next we're going to put them back into the boiling water. You're going to want to leave these jars in there because of their size for 12 minutes. And to be honest, guys, canning isn't difficult. Like if this is something you're interested in, get on YouTube, educate yourself. That's what I did. It's actually a lot of fun, and you could save your family a lot of money. Because I think these last for quite a bit. You just want to make sure you've put in the dates on them for when you did it. I had pulled the jar out because we didn't think we had enough room, but we ended up getting it to work. So now they've been in there 12 minutes, and you're going to want to take them out at a tilt, like to the side a little bit, to let the water get off of the top of the jars, because you don't want to leave that built up water sitting on the top of the jars. And if you're unsure, ask someone for help. I asked my mom because she's been doing it for years. And so she came out and helped me a little bit. But you're going to want to put them onto, some type of a towel like this and let them sit after that, and they will eventually seal.